Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jai Chaitanya Jai Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Chaitanya Charitamrita की जय श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Dear devotees, welcome to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 17. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes in his youth. And yeah, we got a weekend in the middle, and then Monday we didn't read, so let's see where we are. Okay, 3 days. I think that's the oldest. Yeah, or that's the most recent, 96. Yeah, so so we were reading about Lord Chaitanya.
We read Mataji, Narsimha.
Yeah, I'm just doing a recap, Mataji. Yeah, so we read how Mahaprabhu performed Kirtan and moved the clouds away. Once there were big clouds in the sky, and it appeared that there was going to be a storm. But Mahaprabhu, on 2 separate occasions, one he just looked at the clouds and indicated to Lord Indra, to the demigods, right? Just move the clouds away, and then there was no rain, and devotees were able to perform Sankirtan. Well, I think that was the older one. That was not here, right?
Yeah, older one. This one was mango.
Mango, okay. Yeah. So after Kirtan, everyone was tired. So Mahaprabhu just planted the seed of a mango, and instantly it just grew in the front of everyone's eyes into a big mango tree. And there were so many mangoes, all ripened, red and yellow in color, which had no seed and no skin. And Mahaprabhu had 200 mangoes picked and brought down. And each devotee got one mango, but one mango was sufficient to completely satisfy the devotee's hunger. And like this, throughout the whole year, they got mangoes every day. After Kirtan, they would have a mango feast by Mahaprabhu's. But this was not visible to outsiders. And people, those who are not devotees, they don't believe in this. But actually, this pastime happened. That's why these are the confidential pastimes. Other than devotees, nobody knows of this. Yeah. Yeah, this also. Performing Kirtan, clouds assembled. So this was after the mango in the sky, and the Lord by his own will immediately stopped them from pouring rain. And then that was one thing about the clouds. So there in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gave two separate occasions when it happened. And then we saw how Srivas Thakur was doing the Shraddha ceremony, and Mahaprabhu told him to. So that also, here it is said that the Lord ordered Srivas Thakur to read from the, to read the Vishnu Sahasranama, 1000 names of Lord Vishnu. And then when the name of Narasimhadev came, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went into ecstasy. He entered into the mood of Lord Nrsimhadev, picked up a club, and then everyone was becoming scared. So seeing that everyone is getting scared, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave up the mood of Nrsimhadev, threw away the club, and once again he became peaceful. So there we read how actually he was running after the people with the club, and then so that is said in Chaitanya Bhagavat. The details are given there. So he was running after the people, and then all the people were out of fear. They were running here and there, and seeing their fear, the Lord said, "This is not." So he went back to Srivas Thakur's house, threw the club, and once again became peaceful. And Srivas Thakur said, "Anyone who takes," okay, one more. So the Lord said, everyone was afraid. So the Lord said, when I became Nrsimhadev, all these people were greatly afraid. So I stopped causing fear among the people, because causing fear is an offense. So I committed an offense. So therefore he became sad. Mahaprabhu became sad that when I went into the ecstasy of, entered the mode of Nrsimhadev, so Nrsimhadev is fearful. Seeing that all the people were scared, I caused them to become fearful, so I offended them. So thinking that he offended the people, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became sad. So Srivas Thakur said, anyone who takes your holy name vanquishes 10 million of his offense. Okay, we have to start from there. I think we have to start from here. So Mahaprabhu was sad. What happened after that? Shrivasa bole na je tomara nama loe, tara koti aparadha sabha hoye kshay. Yes. Achintate Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Srivas Thakur replied, anyone who takes your holy name vanquishes 10 million of his offenses immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. So you are talking about you offending somebody who just takes your name. What to speak of taking your darshan? Someone who even takes your name on his lips, he chants your name, he vanquishes all 10 million of his offenses. 10 million offenses. अपराधा नाही कोइले लोकेर निस्तार जे तो मा देखिलो तारा छुटिला संसार. Arunita or Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
There was no offense in your appearing as Nrsimhadev. Rather, any man who saw you in that mood was immediately liberated from the bondage of material existence. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So you're saying you scared them and therefore you offended them? No, you actually liberated them. When they saw you as Nishingadev, anyone who saw you in that form, they all got delivered. They all became liberated from material bondage. So how can that be an offense? Liberating people from material bondage, how can that be an offense? There was no offense in your appearing as Nishingadev. Rather, it was a benediction for all the people when you appeared as Lord Nrsingadev. Simply by chanting your name, people are delivered by all offenses. By seeing you, how they can, how they can be harmed in any way, like that. Eta boli Srivasa korilo sevana, tushta hoya Prabhu aila apana bhavana.
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
After saying this, Srivas Thakur worshipped the Lord, who was then greatly satisfied and returned to his own home. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Mahaprabhu is now pacified. He was feeling morose. Oh, I caused everyone to become fearful. I offended all the people. This is an offense. No, no, there is no offense. When you became Nrsingadev, when they saw you as Nrsingadev, they got liberated. They got delivered. There was no offense at all. When the Lord heard this, oh, I didn't offend anyone, he became greatly satisfied. Thank you, Srivas. And then he returned to his own house. आरदिन शिव भक्त शिव गुण गाय प्रभुरा अंगने नाचे डमरू बाजाय ईशा ईशा
On another day, a great devotee of Lord Shiva, chanting of Lord Shiva's qualities, came to Lord Chaitanya's house, where he began dancing in the courtyard and playing his damaru, a musical instrument.
Yes. So this was another instance, another day. One great devotee of Lord Shiva came to the house of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You know, people, mendicants, they go door to door. So one devotee of Lord Shiva arrived at the door of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at the house of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there he is chanting the glories of Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva's qualities. And he was playing his damaru, a musical instrument, and he was dancing in the courtyard. So this person, a great devotee of Lord Shiva, he came to the house of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's courtyard, he started playing his damaru, which is also Lord Shiva's instrument, and he was dancing. Mahesha Avesha Hoila Sachiranandan Taras Kandhe Chadi Nritya Koila Bahukshan. Krishna Shish.
Then Lord Chaitanya, adopting the mood of Lord Shiva, got on the man's shoulders, and thus they danced together for a long time.
So Mahaprabhu, he entered the mood of Lord Shiva. So first we saw he entered the mood of Nrsingadev in Srivas Thakur's house. Now in his own house, when a devotee of Lord Shiva came and the devotee of Lord Shiva is dancing, playing his damaru, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered into the mood of Lord Shiva. So he climbed onto the shoulders of this devotee of Shiva, and together, as that person was dancing, Lord Shiva sitting on the shoulders of of Lord Shiva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sitting on the shoulders of Shiva's devotee, he's also dancing. So together they danced for a long time in the courtyard of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's house. Purport, Madhava.
Dr. Mahaprabhu adopted the mood of Lord Shiva, for he is Shiva also. According to the philosophy of Vatsantya Bheda Bheda Tattva, Lord Shiva is not different from Lord Vishnu, but still Lord Shiva is not Lord Vishnu. Just as yogurt is nothing but milk, and it is not milk nevertheless. One cannot get the benefit of milk by drinking yogurt. Similarly, one cannot get salvation by worshipping Lord Shiva. If one wants salvation, one must worship Lord Vishnu. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4. Achstani Sava Bhutani Nachante Sarasvataha. Everything is resting on the Lord, for everything is His energy. Yet He is not everywhere. Lord Chaitanya is adopting the mood of Lord Shiva is not extraordinary, but one should not therefore think that by worshipping Lord Shiva, one is worshipping Lord Chaitanya. That would be a mistake.
Yes. So just like and nothing is separate from him, everything is his energy. Just like Paramatma, as Paramatma is there in every single atom. And he can manage, and that Paramatma is actually an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna. That means it's Krishna only, expanding in different forms. So that means the Lord can manifest himself in anything, anywhere. Then why not in Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva is far superior to the living entities. So that is why nothing is separate from the Lord, because everything is coming from the Lord. Matstani sarva bhutani nachaham teshu avastitaha. So the Lord is saying that everything is resting in me. That means I am everything, isn't it? Everything is resting in me means what? Everything is resting in me means whatever you see, it's all me. But at the same time, I'm not in them. I have my own existence. You cannot say that the Lord is in this kartal, because this kartal is a manifestation of the Lord's energy. So therefore now I will worship this kartal as Krishna. So we cannot say that this is Achinta Bheda Bheda. There's nothing wrong in saying that this kartal is Krishna also. But at the same time, Krishna is Krishna. That's why Krishna says 9:4 and 9:5. Right? He says, Matstani sarva bhutani nachaham teshu avastitaha. And in the next verse he says, Nacha matstani sarva bhutani pashyame yogam aishwaram. Matstani sarva bhutani nachaham teshu avastitaha. Everything is in me, but I'm not in them. That is 9:4. Nacha matstani sarva bhutani. So first he said, everything is in me. And in the next verse he's saying, everything is not in me. Pashyame yogam aishwaram. Look at my opulence, my mystic power, like that. So that means he has his own existence also. Nothing can exist separate from him. That does not mean that everything is him. It may be confusing, but actually it is not confusing. All you have to do is you have to accept this achintya bheda bheda tattva. It is bheda, it is different from him, and also non-different from him. So similarly, if he is becoming Lord Shiva, there's nothing wrong there, because Lord Shiva is also him only. Lord Shiva is his guna avatar, his potency. Lord Shiva is his expansion. But at the same time, now you cannot say worshipping Lord Shiva is the same as worshipping Lord Krishna, because you are saying he is only Shiva, so I'll worship him as Shiva instead of as Krishna. Then what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? This is avidhi purvakam. This type of worship is not proper. Avidhi purvakam. Vidhi purvakam means directly worshipping Krishna. But at the same time, everyone, all the different demigods and the greatest demigod, Lord Shiva, everyone is the Lord's Shakti expansion. So there is Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha expansions. So that's why there is nothing wrong or surprising if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enters the mood of Lord Shiva and he's becoming Lord Shiva, because he is Lord Shiva also. That's the whole point. And I don't think you have any doubts in that, because you heard it several times. And also from Brahma Samhita, we have the example of Kshiram Yatha Dadhi Vikara Vishesha Yogat, right? Between milk and yogurt. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining here that you cannot get the same benefit from yogurt which you get by drinking milk. Actually, they work opposite. At night, if you drink milk, it helps in your digestion. But if you eat yogurt at night, it kind of slows down your digestion. But early in the morning, if you take yogurt, it's very good for your body. But at night, you should drink hot milk, not take yogurt. Although yogurt is nothing but milk, it's just milk. A pot of milk, you put a little bit of culture, and the next day it becomes yogurt. So it's nothing but milk, but it's in a different form. So like that, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is like yogurt. So if you want liberation, you cannot get it from Lord Shiva. Liberation is only possible from Vishnu Tattva. Okay, continuation. आरदिन एक भिक्षुक आइला मागिते प्रभुर नृत्य देखी नृत्य लागिला कोरिते. Rasapriya.
On another day, a mendicant came to beg alms from the Lord's house. But when he saw the Lord dancing, he also began to dance.
So this is a different person. Another person, a mendicant, came to ask for some alms, to beg from the Lord's house. And he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing in ecstasy. Seeing the Lord dancing, this mendicant also began to dance. Earlier, what happened with this Lord Shiva's devotee? The mendicant was dancing. Seeing the mendicant dancing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started dancing. He entered the mood of Lord Shiva, he started dancing. And on another occasion, a mendicant came just to ask some alms. He saw Mahaprabhu dancing, he also started dancing. Prabhu sange nritya kore parama ullase, Prabhu tare prema dilo prema rase bhase. Achintadev Prabhu.
Translation: He danced with the Lord because he was favored by love of Krishna. Thus he flowed in the mellows of love of Godhead. Thank you much.
He danced with the Lord because he was favored by love of Krishna. How did he dance? By seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also danced. Why he was dancing? He was dancing because he got the mercy of Krishna. In what way? He got love of Krishna. He was favored by love of Krishna. Thus he flowed in the mellows of love of Godhead. He was dancing because he got prema. Aradine Jyotisha Sarvagya Eka Aila Tahare Sammana Kori Prabhu Prashna Koila. Arunita or Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
On another day, an astrologer came who was said to know everything, past, present, and future. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received him with all honor and put this question before him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we're reading about Mahaprabhu's pastimes in his youth. So in very short, in one line, we're just reading. We're not reading the details of the whole pastime, just in one line, what all happened. So on another occasion, one astrologer came to Mahaprabhu's house who could tell past, present, and future of anyone. He could see. He knew everything. He knew past, present, and future. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received him with all honor and he asked this astrologer. What did he ask? We'll find out. So first paragraph, Mataji can read the first paragraph. Aditi Lata Mataji.
Yes. Brahmanas generally used to become astrologers, Ayurvedic physicians, teachers, and priests. Although highly learned and respectable, such Brahmanas went from door to door to distribute their knowledge. A Brahmana would first go to a householder's home to give information about the functions to be performed on a particular tithi or date. But if there were sickness in the family members would consult the Brahmana as a physician, and the Brahmana would give instruction and some medicine. Often, since the Brahmanas were expert in astrology, people would also be greatly inquisitive about their past, present, and future.
Okay. Brahmanas generally used to become astrologers because the thing is, all this is Vedic sciences, right? Who studies the Vedas? The Brahmanas study the Vedas. All these Ayurveda, this astrology is called what in Sanskrit? Jyotish Shastra. Yeah. So Ayurveda, Jyotish Shastra, all these are Vedic sciences, and Vedas can only be studied by Brahmanas. So generally, Brahmanas would be astrologers, or they'll become priests, right, to perform pujas or ceremonies, samskaras. They would do that, or they could be Ayurvedic physicians. or they could be teachers of this. Either they are physicians or they're just teaching that science. They can teach also. And they're priests, right? Performing samskaras, pujas, worship for others. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas also do puja, but they do for their own families. In their house, for themselves, they can do. They don't go to others' homes or in temples, they don't do. Brahmanas can do for others also. They should do for others also. Like that. So they do priestly work, services, they teach, and they're also doctors and they're astrologers. And Brahmanas are highly learned and respectable, but still they would go door to door to distribute that knowledge because they live by the principle of simple living and high thinking, simple living. So therefore, they don't, even though they are so knowledgeable, they don't live in opulence because their opulence is their knowledge, their advancement. So they go door to door to distribute knowledge. A Brahmana would first go to a householder's home to give information about the functions to be performed on a particular tithi or date. But if there were sickness in the family, he would also uh, give them prescription, right? He would advise them as a physician. That means he would be familiar with the priestly activities as well as Ayurvedic sciences and astrology, that he would know all these things. So he would go there for priestly duties, but if they inquired him about health, then he would also give them proper prescription. He would give instruction and he would also give some medicine. Often since the Brahmin, and then also similarly, just like medicine, they were also expert in astrology. So people would ask them, right, can you tell me my future? Who was I in my past life? And they could tell that also. Next, Isha.
Although although the Brahmana appeared at Lord Chaitanya's house as a beggar, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received him with great respect because he was a qualified Brahmana who knew the astrological science perfectly. Although Brahmanas would go door to door just like beggars, they were honored as very respectable guests. This was the system in Hindu society 500 years ago, during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This system was current even 100 years ago, even 50 or 60 years ago. When we were children, such brahmanas would visit householders like humble beggars, and people would derive great benefit from the mercy of such brahmanas.
Yeah, Krishnashish can read the rest. I marked it, you see, the greatest benefit.
The greatest benefit was that a householder could save a great deal of money from being spent on doctor bills, because the Brahmanas, aside from explaining the past, present, and future, could ordinarily cure all kinds of diseases simply by giving instructions and some medicine. Thus, no one was bereft of the benefit of a first-class physician, astrologer, and priest. The important members of ISKCON should give careful attention to our Dallas school, where children are being taught Sanskrit and English to become perfect Brahmanas. If they are actually trained as perfect Brahmanas, they can save society from rogues and ruffians. Indeed, people can live happily under the protection of qualified Brahmanas. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita 4.13 gives special stress to the division of society, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagashaha. Unfortunately, some people are now claiming to be Brahmanas simply by birthright with no qualifications. Therefore, the entire society is in chaos.
So you will see again and again throughout the purports of Srila Prabhupada, it's just a matter of paying attention to his purports. And, you see again and again how he's instructing about training, the society according to the Daiva Varnashram system. What is Srila Prabhupada saying here? First paragraph said about Brahmanas, and Brahmanas don't charge any fee. They don't charge any fee for their services, whether they do priestly activities or they give they offer astrological services, or even medical services. That means Srila Prabhupada is saying first class, the benefit of a first class physician, a first class astrologer, and a first class priest. It is available to everyone. Even the poorest person has this benefit. The Brahmana is not going door to door. He is not going only to wealthy people to earn some money. That's not his purpose. His main purpose is to distribute that knowledge, because only he is qualified. Only the Brahmana is qualified to study. Others are not qualified. And whatever knowledge we need to live in this world is only gotten from the scriptures, which only he studies. So unless he gives that knowledge, how the society will get that knowledge? And without that knowledge, how the society will progress? So therefore, he takes it upon himself as a duty to go door to door and give that knowledge to everyone. Not that he's going simply to beg. How much does he need to eat for himself? Right? Of course, in Kali Yuga, they're getting degraded. They're forgetting, right? Losing their Brahminical qualities, simply making it a profession to beg. That's a different thing. But originally, why Brahmanas go door to door? To give that knowledge. And when they go to give that knowledge, they also offer their astrological and medical services as needed. Whenever, wherever they are needed, they offer them free of charge. They don't charge anything. And according to their means, as a loving gesture, the householder offers something. Whatever he has, he offers. And the Brahmana accepts it graciously, because he doesn't charge. And even when he accepts it, he will only keep what he needs for his basic maintenance. Anything in excess, he won't put in the bank. He will distribute it again. He will distribute it. This is a Brahmana. So it is very important, Srila Prabhupada is saying. Now, practically, how is it applicable to us? Is it just some history? No. Srila Prabhupada is saying, see, the important members of ISKCON should give careful attention to our Dallas school, where children are being taught Sanskrit and English to become perfect Brahmanas. That means this happens in Gurukul. This is the purpose of a Gurukul. The purpose of a Gurukul is to identify what is the natural propensity, tendency, right, nature of the child, and then give him training accordingly, especially to train the Brahmanas, because these are the first class people for the society. They will guide the society. And then to train the Kshatriyas, because they are the administrative heads. And then some training for the Vaishyas. As far as agriculture, cow protection, you need some training. For Shudras, there's no particular, big time training required. Mainly, the leaders are Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and to some extent Vaishyas. So if you train the Brahmanas, then they will guide the rest of the society. Just like here, others are not studying, but still they are getting the benefit of medicine, and they're getting the medicine of astrology. From Brahmanas, they're getting. They teach, Brahmanas teach the other society. They teach everyone else how to carry out their duties from the scriptures. So Prabhupada is saying, if they are actually trained as perfect Brahmanas, they can save the society from rogues and ruffians. That means you don't have to go to big hospitals just to take care of your health needs. It won't be needed. Medical help is free of cost. That is the society. And people can live happily under the protection of qualified Brahmanas. Prabhupada is saying, Chaturvarnya maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. Stress is given in Bhagavad Gita. There has to be a division of society. If this is just some history and it is not practical, why Srila Prabhupada is talking about this now? Unfortunately, some people are now claiming to be Brahmanas simply by birthright with no qualification. Therefore, the entire society is in chaos. Yeah, that's not required. Guna karma, that work is also needed. You should act like a Brahmana and you should have those qualities of the Brahmana. Ke achilum ami purva janme kaho gani, ganite lagila sarvagya prabhu vakya shuni. Madhva.
Please tell me who I was in my previous birth. The Lord said, Please tell me by your astrological computations. Hearing the word of the Lord, the astrologer immediately began to calculate.
So when the astrologer came, he came. So this was so Brahmanas were respected even though they were going door to door, but they were honored as the leaders of the society. So Mahaprabhu, he himself is a Brahmana, but he invited him, he honored him, made him sit. And because he's an astrologer, he said, "Can you please tell me who I was in my previous birth? Please tell me by your astrological calculations." So the astrologer immediately began to calculate, seeing the Lord, who he was in his past life. Let's find out. Purport, Rasapriya.
Through astrology, one can know past, present, and future. Modern Western astrologers have no knowledge of the past or future, nor can they perfectly say anything about the present. Herein, we find, however, that after hearing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order, the astrologer immediately began his calculations. This is not a facade. He actually knew how to ascertain one's past life through astrology. A still existing treatise called the Bhrigu Samhita describes a system by which anyone can immediately get information about what he was in the past and what he is going to be in the future. The Brahmanas who went door to door as if beggars had perfect command of such vast knowledge. Thus, the highest knowledge was easily available, even to the poorest man in society. The poorest man could inquire from an astrologer about his past, present, and future, with no need for business agreements or
exorbitant
payments. The Brahmana would give him all the benefit of his knowledge without asking
remuneration.
And the poor man, in return, would offer a handful of rice or anything he had in his possession to satisfy the Brahmana. In a perfect human society, perfect knowledge in any science, medical, astrological,
ecclesiastical, priesthood,
and so on, is available even to the poorest man, with no anxiety over payment. In the present day, however, no one can get justice, medical treatment, astrological help, or
ecclesiastical
enlightenment without money. And since people are generally poor, they are bereft of the benefits of all these great sanctions.
Isn't it? It is. Yeah. Of course, here in the US, to some extent, yeah, they offer help if you are, medical help is offered to those who are poor, and not astrological help. And what is the other one? Priests. That also, no. Yeah, they help with food and they help with medicines. But again,
know how to do the astrology nowadays. How will
they don't know. Correct. That's what Prabhupada said. They don't even know. That's true. And they don't even see. The point is, see, this also tells us their development. All they can think of is food, and and if you're sick, how you'll enjoy. Eating also you cannot. Eating also. So they know food and medicine. That means you're not able to think anything beyond this body. Even within this body, you're not able to think of the finer sentiments. It's all about gross, right? Just food and body. Of course, you may say this is the basic need. Yes, accepted. But that is not all, to this life. In fact, that is not the purpose of life anyway. Simply to eat and stay healthy. That's not the goal of life. How much ever you eat and how much ever you maintain a good health, in the end you have to die. And after you die, you have to take birth again. That's what Bhagavad Gita says, right? One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death he is sure to take birth again. So what are we doing about that? Their intelligence doesn't even think that far. Again, in Shastra Pramana we studied this, that this type of intelligence where all you can think of is food and just bodily needs, right? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's the limit. You cannot think outside of that. You really observe it closely in the society. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's it. You cannot go beyond that. And this is the level of understanding of animals also. Cats and dogs, they cannot think beyond that. All they can think of is eat, sleep, mate, and defend. That means man's intelligence, which is actually much finer, it is meant for higher subjects. We are capable of understanding Bhagavad Gita. We are capable of following Dharma. We are capable of coming out of this cycle of birth and death. A dog cannot even think. Even if you made him to sit down and you told him Bhagavad Gita, he cannot understand. But you make a human being sit down and you train him from childhood, he can understand nicely. He can actually change. But how much ever you do that to a dog, he cannot, because he does not have that in a dog's body. The level, the development of consciousness is low. You cannot actually train a dog. Sometimes they say, yes, we can train them, to carry out. That is really sign language. It's not so much, Shabda Gyanam. Shabda Gyanam means, Shabda Bodha means when you hear a sentence is made up of words. Each word has a potency. What is that potency? Potency to indicate an object, or even if it is an action word, it has a potency to indicate an activity. Like that, every word has a potency. But if you simply put some letters together like little children can do, they don't have any potency because they're not actually words. They don't have any potency. We are not talking about those. But actually, those words which have some potency to indicate an object, such word is called Shabda. And when such words are put together into a statement or into a sentence, that sentence now has a meaning. So when human beings, when they hear a sentence, and there are some prerequisites for that. First of all, you should have like if you are not able to hear, your hearing, you don't have the hearing capability, then you won't get Shabda Bodha. You don't get Shabda Jnanam. First of all, your ears should work. You should be able to hear. Or nowadays, you can get Shabda Bodha even by reading. Same thing. You read a sentence or you hear a sentence. Okay, same thing. And you should know, first thing is you should be able to hear, or you should be able to read with your eyes, right? And second thing is, you should know the meaning of the word. Then when you read a sentence or hear a sentence, what happens? As soon as you hear a sentence, this is the mechanism that's happening in your system. You will immediately recollect the meanings of the words. You rearrange the words. This is called Anvaya. You must have heard before, right? Like when we read Sanskrit shlokas, you rearrange the words to understand the meaning of what is said there. That's called Anvaya. Or a karta, karma, and kriya, right? Subject, verb, and object. In that order, you put the sentence to understand what this sentence means. And then by doing that in your mind, then you get knowledge from that sentence. The knowledge that you thus derive is called Shabda Bodha or Shabda Jnanam. This much happens before you can actually understand what is being said. You get some knowledge by hearing. This is a process. Animals are not capable. They are not capable of gaining knowledge like this. Because, first of all, they won't know the words or the meanings of the words. They cannot comprehend. They cannot comprehend. There is something called sign language. That's different pramana, sign. That means when you make a certain sign, with that sign, they understand, oh, this sign means something. But actual meanings of the words and then to arrange the words in a particular form, and then to get that instruction to gain knowledge, animals are not capable. Why? Because their level of consciousness is not developed. So therefore, what is the maximum that the animals can do? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's all. So this is called pratyaksha pramana. Pratyaksha pramana means with your senses, whatever you see, right? Like you eat something and then you get a taste of it. Oh, this is sweet, this is sour, this is hot, this is cold. That much knowledge only we can get through senses. Anumana means it's higher, right? Anumana means based on what you have experienced with your senses, you infer, right? So the next time, even though you're not directly, so I'll give you an example. Let's say there's a mountain and there is smoke coming on top of that mountain. Now, from your past experience, you saw in the kitchen, like I'm talking in wood stoves, right? Wood stove. So you saw that there is smoke. When your grandmother is cooking, you see there's smoke coming out of a wood stove. So then you understand when there is smoke, where is the smoke coming from? You see, there is actually fire inside. Smoke only comes when there is fire. So you have this from your experience, direct experience. Using that knowledge, now when you go to a new place on a mountain, when you see smoke, so it's not just in kitchen, you've seen in several other places. You saw in the night in winter, in the villages, they put fire, like campfire, and they sleep to keep themselves warm. There also you have seen that smoke comes only from fire. If there is no fire, there cannot be any smoke. Smoke can come only when there is fire. Now he goes to a mountain and he's seeing just smoke. He's not seeing any fire. What is his knowledge now? There is fire on this mountain. He's not seeing any fire, but immediately he infers there is fire on this mountain. How he is inferring? He is inferring based on his past, the
Experiences.
He formed in his mind by the relationship between smoke and fire, which he had experienced before. He formed a rule in his mind. Whenever there is smoke, there has to be fire. This is a rule. Now, even without seeing the fire, wherever he sees smoke, he will get knowledge. There is fire here. This is called Anumana Pramana or inference. Animals may be able to do Anumana to a small extent. In this world, whatever knowledge our scientists, researchers, so many books are there in the libraries, so many departments. All the knowledge that is there in the books is either based on pratyaksha or anumana, nothing beyond that. Nothing beyond that. Anumana, what did I say? Inferring based on what you have experienced. I'll give you another example. Newton once saw an apple falling down from the tree, and then he started questioning why this apple is only falling down, why it is not going up, right? So from his pratyaksha, direct experience, he started thinking, and then he formed some relationship, and he came up with some laws. That is his inference based on his observation. He inferred, he came with Newton's laws. So, and based on those laws, now so many inventions are made. That means whatever inventions are made, what is the foundation for that? Anumana, his inference. What is the foundation for that anumana? Pratyaksha, based on senses. So, senses have three defects: Brahma, Karana Patava, Pramada. Brahma means to be illusioned, Karana Patava means they are limited, and Pramada means they make mistakes. And then there's a fourth defect which is not in the senses, which is in the intelligence, wanting to cheat. When you have these four defects, whatever knowledge is produced, you cannot say it with certainty that such knowledge is real knowledge. Such knowledge is correct knowledge. You cannot say. Sometimes it can be correct, sometimes it may not be correct. So now all the books that are written and all the knowledge that we are getting, it is based on somebody's pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means based on his sensory observation, or based on his inference using his intelligence. It may be correct in some cases, it may not be correct. But we take that as Veda. Oh, this is the law. We have to follow this law. But because it has defects, such knowledge is not dependable. It is not reliable. And that means if your knowledge is only based on pratyaksha and anumana, it shows that your level, your development is very low. That's what I'm trying to get at. And the animals also can do this pratyaksha and anumana, even animals can do. Anumana to some extent animal does. For example, if you give, I don't know if you have ever had any pets, right? You give hot milk to a cat, right? So the very first time it comes, and when it drinks milk, its mouth, it burns, it'll go away. Next time, even if you give cold milk, it won't even come close. Why? Past experience, it formed a rule in its mind. Milk means mouth will burn. So it will not come to that milk ever again. That's anumana. It's inferring. Based on its experience, it's inferring. So if all our knowledge is simply based on pratyaksha and anumana, really our development is no better than cats and dogs. Whereas our intelligence, our consciousness is meant to achieve something far beyond what the animals are able to gain. And we become proud that, oh, now we have developed in technology, we are preparing airplanes and this and that. It's like toys, actually. This is not really advancement. This advancement, it's like little children doing some, So the level of development is still there only. So then what is the higher development? Higher development would be Shabda Jnana, that knowledge which is received through sound, which animals cannot. They cannot get Shabda Jnana. Animals cannot get Shabda Jnana. So now, if we send our children to schools, and if their teachers are teaching what is written in books by people who wrote these books based on their pratyaksha and anumana, how can you expect their intelligence to grow beyond cats and dogs level of intelligence? Think about it. Therefore, it is very essential. So now Shabda Jnana, now you may say, but this books, whatever is written in the books, we are speaking that, and that is also Shabda, right? Now you speak something from science book, the teacher tells, and the child is listening, and then he's getting Shabda Bodha or not. From sound, he's getting knowledge. So it is Shabda Jnana. So that's good? No. But what is the basis of that Shabda Jnana? The basis of that Shabda Jnana is again Pratyaksha Anumana. That book was written by whom? And what is the basis for that? Somebody's direct perception or somebody's inference only. So therefore, we want that Shabda Jnana which is not based on Pratyaksha, which is not based on sense perception, which is not based on conditioned person's intelligence. It should be non-defective. Intelligence and senses, why we don't want? They have these 4 defects. So if we can get that Shabda which does not have these 4 defects, then that will always give us real knowledge. It will not give us faulty knowledge. And with certainty, every time it will give us only real knowledge. So human beings must be exposed to that sound vibration which does not have defects. That's the bottom line I'm trying to get at. Right from childhood, human beings must be exposed to that sound vibration which is free from the 4 defects. Where is that opportunity being given to the children now? Why I am telling all this? Because Srila Prabhupada is talking about training children in our Dallas school. Srila Prabhupada is saying they are being taught Sanskrit. Where is Sanskrit coming from? From the Vedas only. That sound vibration, anything which is coming from the Vedas it is free from the defects. So when you hear such sound vibration, the knowledge that you're getting is real knowledge, and now your level of advancement is far higher. It's not on the level of cats and dogs. That's the point. So therefore, training is very, very important. Now, whatever has happened to us has happened, but the next generation must be trained. And I'm not just talking about my children and your children. The whole society should be trained. That means we should have such schools, such where younger generation, they're given this opportunity to be exposed to such non-defective shabda that will actually widen their uh, their consciousness, their development. It will be far more than what we are getting now with ABCD and 1, 2, 3 education. So of course we are all getting, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, whatever little we are able to get, we are trying. But moving forward, wherever we have an opportunity, we should. That's why we have to keep reading Bhagavad Gita shlokas, Srimad Bhagavatam. This is all apaurusheya. This is not written by any human being. This sound vibration is not material sound vibration. Even the Vedas are not material sound vibration. It's perfect sound vibration. So when somebody is exposed, then he can actually become a perfect Brahmana. He can become a perfect Brahmana. And then he can actually lead the society also properly. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada is saying, don't just neglect that this is not important. It's very important. The society being divided, and divided means trained. It's not about birth. Oh, I'm born in a Brahmana family, therefore I'm better, and someone else is Shudra, so you should be my servant, and I will exploit you. That's not the idea at all. Anyway, so I'll stop at that. Thank you for staying back. Hare Krishna. I'll end here.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, still now the Ashish is saying Dallas Gurukul is there.
I don't know, Mataji. I don't know what's going on now. I haven't, yeah. You can maybe try type. Many Gurukuls had closed, but I don't know what's going on now, Mataji.
Mataji, for astrology, I heard that some devotee astrologer is there, but I don't know who.
Yeah, yeah. So devotees also must learn these sciences now. Of course, it's not required for devotional service, but the thing is, we still have to live, isn't it? We still have to live in the, and we still have needs. We need a home, we need doctors, and we need schools, we need clothes, we need food. Think about it. Where are we depending on all these things for? On Walmart? Isn't it? And for doctors, yeah, some hospital, we have some doctor, we just go there. But if as devotees, even after taking to Krishna, we want to form devotee societies. And when we say devotee societies, we are not saying that it's restricted to just us. We want to open it to the whole society at large. We want to open it to them and give them an opportunity, because not everyone may directly come to chant Hare Krishna, but everyone will be happy to live a healthy life, a pure life, to get pure food, simple life. People will be interested in coming. So therefore, to help the society gradually move towards Krishna consciousness, devotees also must learn these sciences. So when you say training as a Brahmana, this purport itself is a proof here. Brahmana means he will also know astrology, he will also know medicine, Ayurveda, and priestly activities. That means he'll know how to do samskaras. It's not that one Brahmana has to learn everything, but at least you choose one particular field. Why you have to do this? Not that this is required for you to go back to Godhead. That's not the point, for you to develop love of Godhead. But while we are in this material world, we still have material needs. For these material needs also, we will depend on the Vedas. The Vedas are giving us everything that is needed to live in this life peacefully and also to make our life successful after this life also. We will be making progress in our spiritual life. So instead of depending on vikarma, so what is the foundation? What is the source of all the things that are existing now, as far as medical or education? Everything is based on Anumana Pratyaksha. So that is not dependable, it's not reliable, and we can see how so many problems. You try to solve one and it only opens up other problems. So therefore, as you said, one devotee knows astrology. Yes, devotees also should learn these things, but you should have a clear understanding. It's not that instead of you should be wise enough to judge, right? Not mix the two things, that this is the highest. No, this is being done for your material well-being, astrology or this or that, medical and all this materially. Why? Because we still need material. We have these material bodies. That's why we are doing this. Instead of going to a regular, material doctor or astrologer, why not the devotees do it themselves? So they cut down their dependence on the modes of passion and ignorance. That's the whole idea. So yes, devotees also should learn these sciences. So it's good.
Do you know anyone, Mataji, who does astrology?
There's one devotee who was in New Vrindavan and then they moved to California. One devotee is there. Yeah, I know one devotee. Well, I think there are others also. I can actually get, because, I have some contacts and they can actually find out. I mean, you can get, maybe they are in India also. So through phone numbers, you can communicate with them.
Let me know, Mataji, if you have some.
Yeah, sure.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking what I was in my previous birth. That is
I
the
like that.
that is so funny.
Well,
He'll
you
be
will find out. You will find out why he's asking. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is different. He is just playing with this astrologer,
Of
because
course,
this astrologer goes like,
he'll faint probably.
yeah, because he's seeing all these personalities, like he's seeing Lord Ramchandra, Lord Nishing, then he's seeing what's going on, right? Who is this? I'm not able to figure out who you are, like that. So he's just playing with him. But yeah, I mean, for that, devotees, again, always keep, for us, Mataji, we have come here uh, to Krishna consciousness. So our aim is to move towards Ananya Bhakti. So then whatever is required to move in that direction, we will do that. And basic things which we need now, because we don't have full Shraddha yet. So for that only we will depend. But let's not unnecessarily expand, right? What will you do by knowing who you are?
Yeah, it's just for the fun sake.
Exactly. Just for fun. Yeah. I mean, it's just a curiosity, but that cannot be changed, whatever it is.
But
But
then future,
future can be changed.
yeah, but future, how can they say? Because I am by my activities, I'm changing my future, right? So how can I?
So they'll tell you what you're changing. See, that's why you have two hands. I know a little bit,
Yeah,
not
I
much.
also heard that the right hand is changing, right?
Yeah. So according to because your subtle body is changing, Mataji. Your future is changing based on your decisions, your lifestyle. Otherwise, then how, it makes sense, right? Now you are doing devotional activities. Before you started this, maybe you would have ended up somewhere else in some other body, but now it's changing. It's changing because you've taken to devotional life. So yeah, you can change. And
Yes.
they'll see now, present, they will see according to what they see today, that's what you're going to be. And also you already you take a certain direction. That means, just like if you're going towards California, you cannot say halfway there going to California, you cannot say that, oh, this person is actually heading towards New York. I mean, I'm just guessing, I'm just saying. So they must have some ways to tell, the way in which you're moving. They can guess, oh, that's where you're going to be, maybe. But yeah, as devotees, we don't worry about.
Yes,
Even future also we don't worry. We don't worry about future.
in my younger age, I mean, when I was a child, my mom used to go to these astrologers and all. Although they are not like earlier days, they were much more better, but still.